Have you ever wondered what an angel sounds like? During this season, our scriptures are littered with angels and angelic visits. Gabriel visits Mary. The angels tell the shepherds to go to Bethlehem. And in today's Gospel from Matthew, Joseph meets with the angel of the Lord in a dream. And about angels as well. Look for the mention of angels and archangels in our scriptures, our liturgy and carols over this next week and beyond. Angels are a potent presence among us. What did the angels sound like in Joseph's dream? Does one angel sound like the whole host of heaven? What does it sound like when it's charged with the energy of God's love? Does every word contain rich harmonies or discords, beyond our conscious hearing, yet completely understood by our spiritual heart, where Jesus dwells within us? Would we be moved to tears, or astonished, or scared, or would we crackle with excitement? Would we be dazzled? What would it be like to meet with an angel? Joseph found himself in rather a tight spot. Mary, his fiancée, is pregnant. And Joseph knows he's not the father. And it's always a difficult situation, even in today's liberal Western society. In first century Judaism, people were promised in marriage to each other from an early age. They signed contracts, and they became betrothed about a year before the wedding was to take place. They entered into a formal legal contract. And for someone in Mary's situation, she could, under the law, be brought to public trial, and if found guilty, be stoned to death. Mary's position is potentially very dangerous. But Joseph is a good man, and his solution is honourable. He decides to quietly dismiss Mary, brushing his embarrassment under the carpet to keep Mary safe. It's a good way forward that protects her from public disgrace. But then human honour and civility is not God's way. In a dream, the angel of the Lord tells Joseph to rise above convention, go beyond being honourable and righteous, and do even the harder thing, the brave thing, to take the more difficult and demanding path, to actually marry Mary and take this child on as his own and raise him in faith and hope. Mary's child is not just any child, but of the child of the one prophesied throughout Jewish history, the Messiah. Mary with child is the sign that Isaiah looked for, the sign that all will be well, that all can be reconciled between heaven and earth, between God and mankind. It's a sign that's as deep as Sheol, the underworld, and as high as heaven. It's a sign for everyone, everywhere. For Joseph to hear God's message and act in an incredibly courageous way, the angel of the Lord must have had a very, very persuasive and utterly convincing and compelling tone, like nothing Joseph had ever heard before. Joseph is going to do something new, something risky, and something unconventional. It requires courage, strength, imagination, and sheer guts. No wonder the angel tells him not to be afraid. Imagine the pressure Joseph would have been under to follow the social, but with the intercession of Joseph's faith, at the very heart of God's mystery, to be made in the image of God is to encounter mystery within ourselves and those around us. To be made in the image of God is to be capable of going beyond our natural human responses that even transcend convention. God breaks natural and social conventions and constructions all the time. God will not be contained. God in Jesus moves between heaven and earth. God in Jesus breaks the laws of nature, being born to a virgin, walking on water, stilling storms, creating banquets from meagre luncheons, turning water into wine, healing and raising the dead, even breaking through the finality of human death into a new resurrected life. All of us, made in God's image, called to follow Christ, and filled with God's Spirit today, should not be surprised if God calls us to go beyond human convention, to take risks, to be more than honourable, to go somewhere completely unexpected. We're part of a new creation, a creation that God is doing in our midst. We're called to be co-creators with God, who is constantly in the process of creating a new heaven and a new earth. Just days away from Christmas, our rehearsal of the Christmas story in the Gospel today reminds us that God acts and loves in fresh, divine ways that do go beyond convention and beyond boundaries and beyond honour. There is always more to Jesus than we can discern. And when we try to fit God into our small, safe boxes, then we close down all sorts of possibilities, including our own growth in faith and hope and love. We forget to listen to God's calling. We are no longer open to God's adventures and working with Him and for Him. In other words, we forget to listen to His angels, to His messengers. With God, anything is possible. In God, there is always hope. Whatever chaos, mess, or disaster is heaped around us, or piled onto us, or done by us. Let the courage of Joseph and Mary inspire you to new adventures in your faith. Listen for angels calling you to meet with the child of Bethlehem, and be ready to be changed, renewed, and blessed this Christmas by God with you and for you. Amen.